So right now I'm on my way to Greggs, and I'm going to tell you about its amazing turnaround and why it is the cultural icon it is today.
Greggs, what is this?
These are various Greggs treats.
The Prime Minister replied, "How many times have I ever not had a Greggs?"
Oh, wow. Come on, States, bring on the sausage roll.
So here's my haul from Greggs. I've got myself a baguette, I've got myself a vegan sausage roll, and a Coke.
Cheers, buddy. Thanks.
Then I went to Pret, and I got one sandwich.
Can I get this, please? Cheers. Thanks.
Greggs, all of this cost me £4.90. Whereas at Pret, this one sandwich cost me £5.25. Greggs was just as quick, just as simple, just as easy. And the best thing about Greggs is it's not only cheap, but it doesn't taste cheap, it's actually quite good quality. And I don't personally see a massive difference in a Pret versus a Greggs. For me, Greggs is just as good. Anyone who says they don't like Greggs is probably lying to you because, I mean, how can you not like great value and good food? It's just unbeatable, really. And also as well, vegan sausage rolls. And then secondly, if you just look on Google Maps and see how many Greggs there are in London, it's actually insane. They haven't even been in London that long. They wanted to stay out of London because they just couldn't afford the rent, and they needed a humongous footfall to make it worthwhile. But for the past couple of years, they've actually been opening them up, and it's just proliferated massively. And then finally, what kind of company thinks, you know what, we're gonna make a vegan sausage roll and then make a hilarious tech advert for it and do like one of the best PR campaigns ever. This vegan sausage roll was literally all anyone could talk about for bloody ages, and they are extremely tasty as well. That's good. So I'm gonna tell you the story of Greggs and how it completed an amazing turnaround under the leadership of Roger Whiteside.
They sell 1.5 million a week. This could be a hit.
Right. Greggs began in 1951, and when it started out, it was just a bakery. Founder, John Gregg, realised that he could create the ambience of a bakery, but with a little bit less effort. He installed a little oven just to do some of the finishing off of the baking, but did the majority of the baking off-site. So Greggs still felt like a bakery, but it wasn't really doing a hell of a lot of the heavy lifting, wasn't using really valuable real estate in the process. The company then went public in 1984, and then in 1994, it started buying another chain and doubled its size almost overnight. They continued running, but the story I want to focus on is 2013 onwards. 2013, they were struggling and they hired a CEO called Roger Whiteside. Roger was at Marks and Spencer's for about 20 years and started on the management graduate trainee program and then worked his way up and was quite senior there. But then he left for Ocado and started to help set that one up. And if you don't know about Ocado, it's online food delivery. It was the first of its kind. It was pretty innovative when it first came out. So when Roger joined, the situation was like this. Greggs was struggling against the big high street supermarkets. If you wanted some bread or a baguette or a bread roll or bagels or whatever, you would just go to the supermarket. Why bother going to a specific bakery? That whole model had just sort of died. So Roger was left with a decision. He could either kind of go down this bakery route and try and make that work, or he could try something fundamentally different.
To the conclusion that the take-home bakery market, which is where we built our business, that was a business, a market that was shrinking. So I said, okay, well let's focus on food on the go, and let's completely transform this business to focus entirely on that mission and that mission only.
So overnight, Greggs was suddenly not competing against supermarkets. It was competing against the likes of Costa, Cafe Nero, Pret. Loads of analysts were skeptical. The people who loved Greggs and thought it was a great bakery were saying, why are you leaving your roots? Why are you going against this? You know, this isn't what Greggs is. And then meanwhile, analysts who were a bit skeptical of the strategy were like, how the hell are you going to compete with all these big food on the go brands who've been doing this for their entire lives? However, within 2 years, Roger turned it around. Share price had jumped up almost fourfold from £3.85 to £13.80. So what did Roger do to make Greggs such a success and the cultural icon it is today? In an interview, Roger said his concept was basically to take all the good bits of a bakery while combining all the good bits of a food on the go brand, which I don't know how he made it sound simple, but he seemed to have it sorted in his head. And then the biggest challenge was he really still wanted it to feel like a bakery, like things were being baked on site, like they weren't cutting any corners or taking any shortcuts. But fundamentally, I think the reason why Greggs has proliferated so much is because Greggs has nailed a few simple things really well. As I said earlier, it's much better quality than you expect for the price you pay. It's cheap, and it's not like it's the best quality ever, but for the price you pay, it's much better than you expect. You come away feeling like you have this massive value for money and it's such good quality. And to be honest, lots of people from across different demographics absolutely love Greggs for that reason. I remember taking a friend who just moved from Australia there for the first time, and he absolutely loves it. I mean, he goes every single day. It's reasonably priced for coffee as well. I mean, it's just a machine coffee, but if you just want something quick, it's not that bad at all, and it's actually reasonably priced. You're not paying like £3 for double espresso, and you just don't feel like you're getting mugged off every single time you go in there. And I think I just nailed the biggest driver of MPS, which is value for money, which is why so many people keep on going back and so many people love it. The second thing is I think they have a really strong sense of their culture and who they are as a chain. Whenever you read any interview with Roger, there seems to be this profound appreciation of frontline staff and what they do. He knows he can't do it, and he knows he has to lead them, and he also knows as well that without them, the business wouldn't be what it is today. Whenever I go into Greggs, people are always really nice, always really happy to be there, and they're always generally quite friendly. So on top of this, Greggs also get a few fundamental things of looking after your staff right. They pay everyone above minimum wage, they give above inflation pay rises, they implement profit sharing, they give people 50% off in the stores, and they regularly pay out mini bonuses as well. These bonuses can range anywhere in size, but £300 to £500 is generally seems to be the range. And to be honest, if I got a £300 to £500 bonus for just the company doing well, I'd be quite happy. Meanwhile, they really embrace who they are as a chain. They're not trying to pretend to be some foreign brand or trying to, add a bit of French in there or anything like that. They know they're Northern, they know their roots, they know what they stand for, and they really embrace it, and they really genuinely seem to love it. Finally, and maybe most importantly, they are a PR machine, and they really do not take themselves too seriously at all. They have capitalized on so many trends, and they always seem so ahead of the game. Try to predict what customers will want rather than what customers want right now. Not all of it works, and some things flop, but they're willing to give it a go. For example, in the early days of Greggs, there was a spoof that showed up on Google whenever you search for Greggs, which was horrible. I'm not going to repeat it, but you get the picture. It wasn't very nice, calling people scum, horrible. But Greggs didn't get angry at this. Instead, they just politely sent out a tweet, asked Google to take it down, and said they'd give them some free donuts in exchange for their hard work. Then there was a pasty tax implemented by the Tory government. It basically said that more people had to pay VAT on goods, and it was just designed to level the playing field. For example, a fish and chip shop at the time had to pay VAT on things, but then someone like Pret or Greggs didn't have to. So it was well-meaning, the policy, but Greggs capitalised on this massively. So Greggs used this as an opportunity to poke fun at London, poke fun at the Tory government, and really cement their status as the plucky northern underdog fighting for the little man. Then of course, finally, there is their most major coup, the vegan sausage roll. This was launched with so much fanfare and so much thought had gone into it. They launched this hilarious tech ad breaking down the sausage roll, making it seem really innovative and everything else. And to be honest, it was quite innovative. They were by far the first chain to really embrace veganism, and there weren't many other people doing it. And then now if you look, you have McDonald's doing the same. They were the first brand to actually properly give it a go and seem so ahead of the curve and so ahead of the times. As a result, it became this cultural icon. It was literally all everyone could talk about in 2019. I remember how much of a fun thing it was and how just different it felt. It was amazing. This really worked. It introduced a load of new people to Greggs, it changed the perception of Greggs, and then most importantly, it increased profits by 58% in the first half of the year. Since then, you see Greggs continuing to innovate. They have 24-hour stores, like one in Leicester Square and one in Newcastle. They have drive-thrus, they're on Just Eat. They're generally trying to push the boundaries as much as humanly possible. The turnaround from 2013 is simply remarkable. Greggs is now a cultural icon across the country, beloved by many from all walks of life. It's even more popular than McDonald's, Nando's, Starbucks, with over 2,300 stores across the UK in over 1,100 cities. From a survey in 2022, it was cited as the most popular dining brand in the UK, a full 8% higher than the person coming in second. I think the reason why I love this story about Greggs is just because they hit the fundamentals really well. They nail a really solid product at really good value, and they don't try and be anything they're not. Despite this though, the marketing, the new ideas, the innovation is really what sets them apart from other chains. They have never rested on their laurels, they've never taken their customers for granted, and they're always trying to make things better for them. Roger is a self-professed adrenaline junkie, and in all the interviews he's done, the interviewers say, you know, he's this bundle of energy and he's trying to do loads, and you can just tell he's really passionate about what he does. He's clearly brought that energy to Greggs, and that's a major reason for their success in this turnaround. Then on top of that, they're willing to try things and they're not afraid to fail. They're so strong on their core beliefs, they're so strong on their values that they know as long as they do ideas which kind of generally stick to those values and they don't work, at least they've given it a go and at least they've tried. But a lot of the time they seem to absolutely nail it, which I don't really understand how they do, but shout out to Greggs PR department, shout out to their product development people, shout out to everyone who works there. I mean, I think you bloody nailed it, so well done. Thank you very much for watching, really appreciate it. If you fancy it, give it a subscribe. Again, please let me know if you have any feedback. I've tried to make this one a bit more engaging, going out, change the location. I mean, I live in a 1-bed flat, but I'm trying best to change up locations, so hopefully it won't always just be me standing in front of the camera. But yeah, please give me some feedback and let me know what you think. Thanks, bye.